Hey, welcome back to Crosswork Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Flash. I think that even though this movie isn't amazing by any means, people are still going to remember it for a while just because of how bizarre and quirky it is, and how memorable the CGI is. If you know, you know. This definitely does help it stand out in its genre a little bit, and personally, at least to me, it feels like a good entry within the live-action DC lineup. As a kid, and even now, The Flash is still one of my favorite superheroes, but I've never really enjoyed how Ezra Miller has portrayed him. However, this time around he was actually pretty enjoyable and became much more likable pretty early into the film. As shown in the trailers, he wants to save his mom, who died tragically when he was a kid. This is the most important thing ever for him, to save her. So it not only builds his character, but it propels the story with enough heart to keep us hooked all the way through. And I'd say this is one of my favorite aspects of this movie. He also meets another version of himself in another universe who is much less mature, so it forces Barry Allen, who's the Flash, to see himself from the outside and then mature and realize how much he needs to grow in order to save his mom and how much he needs to do in order to save the peril that's happening in the movie. Also, the rest of the characters are really enjoyable, and it may have included one of my favorite live-action iterations of Batman. The action scenes, although sometimes a little bit weird, were pretty cool and dynamic, and the pacing seemed good, and the ratio of action to normal dialogue seemed really well balanced. But the main thing that I didn't like, and this kind of contains spoilers, is that the aspect of going back in time to save people from dying can also put less emphasis on the fate of those people, because if they die they can just be saved again, so then it becomes no big deal. This kind of makes some of the action scenes feel a little bit lifeless and made me feel at least a little bit less invested at times. Because what's the use of peril in a scene when the whole thing can just be reversed and then done differently? Okay, Barbie, let's go party. And now the portion for the parents. There were several jokes and then some brief sequences throughout that felt a little bit unnecessary, such as the Flash accidentally burning off his clothes as he runs. There was also a good amount of language and some intense action, so I'd say kids around the 16 and up would be okay to see this, but as I say sometimes, this really depends on the kid. And that's it for this review. If you're interested in more reviews, go and check out my Instagram where periodically I post slightly bridge reviews to this and other movies and on this channel. And then for those of you who want to know more about the specific content of this film, I have the plugged in and comments and me reviews down below, as well as the parents guide for IMDb. So please subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, that's it for this video. Time to turn off the camera.